nice hat.
Hey, a hat.
Hats off!
Get the hats! Get the hats!
Hats. You'll need hats.
All right. He'll come back in. All right. This is.
Just start when you're ready, man.
We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Well-Hatted Cinema Club. I'm Eric, joined as always by my incredibly handsome co-host. Give it up for Brian and Micah. Will be back here shortly. Woo!
What up,
these guys? What's up? Yeah, man. Well, what's been going on? The World Cup has been absolute cinema. It's been a movie this summer. Like with any good movie, there's been heartbreak. You know, teams moving on, countries going out.
Corruption.
Brazil. You could say corruption, yeah. I mean, Brazil's out. Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo's out. The U.S. is out. You know what else is out? Our latest episode of the Well-Hatted Cinema Club. It's live on Spotify and YouTube. We were talking Supergirl and what we think of the future of James Gunn's DC universe. I actually really like this episode. You know, I was having a lot of fun talking with the guys about this. I felt like college when we were talking about superhero movies. So, you know, guys, feel free to join the conversation. Keep leaving your comments down below. We love to engage and debate with y'all. And if you haven't yet, we'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe and join the club for our weekly episodes. We're approaching those 100 subscribers, which is a first big milestone for us. So really appreciate you guys as always. Micah doing a phenomenal job editing and putting out our YouTube comment and on Spotify, and Brian running the game on our socials with our short form content on our TikTok and Instagram. But it is Brian's movie of the week, so I will kick it over. Or is it Brian or is it Micah? It's Micah's movie of the week. That's right. So I will kick it over to Micah to talk about what we are discussing this week. Micah.
All right, we're talking The Invite, which is a movie directed by, hold on, I think what I want to say Natalie Portman.
No, it's Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde famously looks like Natalie Portman. Anyway, or vice versa. Anyway, directed by Olivia Wilde, starring Olivia Wilde, Seth Rogen, Penelope Cruz, and Edward Norton. And they play a pair of couples that are having a dinner party. They're neighbors, and you know they've got their interpersonal beefs within their relationships, and they've got some neighborly beef, and it all comes to a head in a fun, wild, crazy night in this apartment. I really like this. You know, one of those, like, it's a very small movie, like a one room, only 4 characters. You know, about like an hour, just over an hour and a half, I think. And I had a great time. I was in a packed out showing. People were laughing. I thought everyone individually did their job so well. They let Seth Rogen be funny and over a range of emotions. I think like that's a underrated skill, to be like in pain funny and sad funny and angry funny and like tired funny. And then you got Olivia Wilde delivering stressed out, you know, pinned in housewife. And then you've got Penelope Cruz being like, you know, sexy and mysterious, something I'm sure she could do in her sleep. And then Edward Norton being annoying. And I love that because personally, I find him very annoying. Honestly, I really don't like when he pops up as an actor. And
I'm with you, bro.
Every time they told him to shut up, I loved it. So, and he does a good job too. He's great as being a super pretentious guy, even who's a little bit annoying and too into your wife. And yeah, I really had a great time with this. What'd you guys think?
Eric, I know you just came fresh off, so I feel like you got it right in the mind. But I just want to say, Micah, with you, was a big fan of this. Was surprised by a lot of this because, like, one, like you said, I can't think off the top of my head. I know there are movies that kind of feel like plays where it's small cast, contained sets, but this one really, really upped it. Not just with the fact it's only 4 people in one apartment, but like there are scenes where it's actually just one conversation entirely. But with the performances and the ride it takes you on, I think it works great. And back to the performances, I think Zac Efron or someone who had said about Seth Rogen, who I feel like he's so saturated in the market, people forget. He was like, he's a great actor, and I think this role really emphasized what makes him funny and what makes him talented. You know what I mean? I feel like he works best as like that, you know what I mean? That miserable, dry dude just making chirps. And
You didn't like him last week in Supergirl?
dude, I convinced myself that might not have been him. So I'm like, bro, is that Seth Rogen? I'm like, maybe. But
That's one of those uses of Seth Rogen that's maybe not using all of his talents.
Just using his laugh.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's a voice you recognize, you know.
Yeah.
No, sorry to cut you off, bro. Keep going.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, like, I really, really liked his performance here because, and I thought he was the funniest part of the movie because it brought him back to what used to make him funny in, like, you know, those roles that made him famous, where he's funny because he's got this dry delivery. You know what I mean? Like, he's saying that, like, you know, dudes be like, oh, what? I'm just being honest, but you're actually being a dick. That's what works for him. I feel like for a little bit, we were leaning into being like, oh, he talks and laughs funny. It's not the case. And Ed Norton also kind of annoys me too, Micah. I'm with you. And they leaned heavy into like that kind of just being like, yo, shut the fuck up. But yeah, I was a big fan of this. And I can honestly say, I thought I knew maybe where it was going. And then as it was, even when we got farther in towards like the last act, I was still not shocked, but like pleasantly surprised about how it all resolved. So this was great. Big fan. 10:15 showing last night downtown with all the Emerson and Suffolk kids. That was me.
There you go. Yeah, I came off of a 4:50 p.m. showing at Georgetown. And so just coming fresh off of it for me, and I'm with you guys. Like, I know we get flack for always maybe sometimes agreeing with each other, but I really, really like this movie. Olivia Wilde, her previous work, like I liked Booksmart a lot.
Love Booksmart.
Yeah, a lot of those same, like some great dialogue in this. I know Rashida Jones was one of the writers for this movie. So we know she's got some writing chops. I'd skipped Don't Worry, Darling. I haven't seen that yet, so I can't speak to it.
I saw it.
So I didn't really know what to expect with this movie. You know, it's literally 4 people in this movie, one set. And I think they use that to its strengths. And I got to give a lot of credit to Olivia, like great direction. These are 4 actors that know exactly what movie they're in and know what their roles are in that movie. Like you guys were saying, like Olivia Wilde is just a ball of anxiety and stress the whole time. And then Seth Rogen is a jaded asshole. And then we're trying to kind of figure out, all right, what are the deals with Ed Norton and Penelope Cruz? And we're kind of looking at that through the lens of Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde, right, as the audience. And I loved that scene when you finally get to, all right, what's the actual, I won't say conflict, but like, why, like, what is the deeper, like, what are they getting at with this dinner? Like, what is the actual, like...
The invitation?
The actual invitation, yes. And when Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde are like skitty school kids, like giddy school kids, like asking questions. I really like that. And then speaking to like the one apartment set, I thought the first thing I thought coming out of the movie was like the blocking and the use of the camera being, you know, so dynamic, not in the sense where it's like a moving camera, but like we're switching shots. We're using a ton of negative space at the beginning when they first show up to show like we don't really know these people. Then we're honed in on people's faces. People are in the background. Like the way they use that camera throughout that apartment, that set, oh my God. Like I thought the blocking was fantastic. The framing, cinematography. I really enjoyed it. Great screenplay. It was tight, but it gave room for them to kind of ad lib. I'm sure some of that was, you know, jokes that they just tossed in there. I can't praise enough. I really, really like this movie.
Eric, I just want to jump in before I want Micah to go next. When you talk about the blocking, the camera work, they not only did a great job of gauging people's reactions, both near and far, but also kind of like made you start like trying to figure out when they're visible to the other people in the apartment at any given moment.
Yeah.
Or like if someone's doing something on here, they use the mirrors or like wider shots so you get a reaction from someone farther. Because I remember like, we'll get into it, like the scene when they first split up. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, like are they visible from the upstairs area? Or can you see in the door? Da 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 da. Like, and then how when you see people witnessing things from a distance or even like across the room, like they did a good job of subtly or more like on the nose about like gauging their reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Micah, take it away.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the score a lot. It's not like entirely original. I did recognize a few songs, but I thought that like the switches were like on beat comedically,
Mhm.
which I really liked, like
Yeah.
tonally. Like right in the beginning when they say they do the reset, where you come home from work and we're arguing, reset, and then everything's good, and then when the conflict fires back up, the music switches.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
we're right back at it. I really liked it. It was I think like what one instrument at a time, kind of like either piano or maybe piano and a drum or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty simple. It was more about to like either accelerate or slow it
Yeah,
down, one or
yeah,
the other.
a little jazzy. I
Like
liked it.
I think it went away for a little bit, right? Like at the beginning, when it's Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde, you know what I mean? Like it's the argument parts. It's really.
I think it
kicking.
gets louder sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going, Zach.
No, I did like it. I did. Yeah, the camera work is really good, especially with a movie this small and contained. Although that is a massive apartment.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we never even went upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive apartment. I like the dynamics there. Yeah, there are like when they first split off, I did like that you get a vibe between both the pairs when it's Olivia Wilde and Edward Norton, or when it's Seth Rogen and Penelope Cruz. You're like, why am I catching a vibe from both these couples? And then you come to find out that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I did what was I gonna say? Yeah, I enjoyed this. What did you guys think of the actual invitation? Like of the I was like, I don't know if I've seen a movie to sit down and be like, we're trying to like do almost like a marriage story through how absurd would it be if your upstairs neighbors that you think are cool came down and were like orgy, but only if your marriage is in a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah, the invitation, Eric, I want to pass to you in a minute, but I was curious about that, and I think I need to watch it again because obviously you find out about the window thingy between Hawk and Norton's character and Olivia
A
Wilde,
little bit of exhibitionism.
and you find out about their whole dynamic and then the other couple's whole dynamic. But initially, one of the first big drops is that Olivia Wilde invited Penelope Cruz's character that morning.
Mhm.
Like she pitched it, and like she obviously like was like telling her husband like, no, I said this to you yesterday. And he's like, no, you fucking didn't. But it does make you wonder, like I don't know exactly what her angle was inviting her at the beginning. Again, I might have to watch it again because that invitation is weird. Yeah.
I think that's more to speak to how unhealthy their relationship is.
Yeah.
She thought she could just pull a fast one on him, make him feel bad for not bringing the wine and all this stuff because she texted him last minute, which is one of my personal pet peeves. Don't switch up on me last minute. But well, at least with like stuff like that, be like, he's riding a bicycle. That's tough. And like they both
Hard
have
as
valid
hell.
reasons, for being unhappy, but like they're not helping each other at all. But yeah, that was like one of the first of like a lot of things, and they're arguing about how the house is decorated, which you find out that Olivia Wilde's character went to art school, and that's kind of like bleeding into the living space. She's got no creative outlet, so she's like pouring it into the house. I thought it was interesting that like she's changing shirts and stuff, and then she picks one where she blends into the walls.
Yeah.
Like-
That's a good
like
catch.
she's on Davy Jones's ship and just starting to become part of the house.
Yeah,
Right.
Ricky, you chime in, Rick.
I was kind of waiting for it because you were seeing it. It was kind of like that awkward, like you see the more confident couple. And if you're looking at like someone trying to court someone else in a situation, like the more confident couple, they're going around the house. You can kind of see him there. He's looking at stuff, trying to find like an in, like something to be like, oh my God, is this like some famous photographer? It's you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, this rug. I love this rug.
I love this rug.
Pump this
Piano. He was doing everything.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was doing, you could argue like too much, but he was being Ed Norton, being like weird and like a little like pretentious in ways, which is like skeevy in some ways. But which kind of ties in the end where she was like, this was a night where, I wanted to come see the apartment, maybe fuck a little. Like, I love that line at the end. But yeah, and then I think they did a fun little fake out because you can tell how contentious of an environment it is. They literally talk about it. And you see a bit of a switch up when they first separate where Ed Norton and Olivia Wilde, she's like, hey, I got something to ask you. And then it cuts back to Seth Rogen and Penelope Cruz. And she's saying something about like, oh, like my last marriage, my last relationship. And he's like, when did you know it was over? And you think they're both asking the same thing at the same time. And it cuts back to Olivia Wilde, and she's actually, and Ed Norton's giving her some advice about like, where do you see yourself? Like, blah, 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 on the beach, on like somewhere else, or in Copenhagen. You think it's about her marriage. And then it's about like the paint on the walls.
He's doing like a Rorschach test with 3 of the most identical paint colors I've ever seen.
Dude,
I just love that like roller coaster. Like, there's a game afoot.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, oh, are they going to like drop the ball hard now in this being like a marriage story? And it's like, nah, we're going to continue like pitter pattering along, flirting a little bit.
Ricky, like you're saying,
drop the ball.
Looking back now, you can see it because you know everything. But like initially, there's questions about like, oh, like, does Olivia Wilde want to like, make a move on Ed Norton? Is there cheating? Da 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 da.
Right.
And obviously knowing what we know now about the Ed Norton Penelope Cruz couple, thank God they were the swinger mentality, just being like, hey, let's go check it out, because most normal couples would have ditched that dinner party like 10 minutes in. They'd have been like, fuck this dinner. But they were enjoying it. Like to them, I bet to them it kind of felt like going over like someone you're dating's house for the first time, and they're just nervous and rambling and bumbling. Like they're just having fun with it. Ed Norton's watching her basically just be like, oh my God, like I'm such an idiot. Like, being a manic, crazy, negative person. And Seth Rogen is just like sitting there being like a deer in headlights, like looking at her. Yeah. They were just having fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, they were clearly toying with them. Like, one of the big issues is that they're having extremely loud sex, Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz, very late in the night. And Seth Rogen's character is like super upset about it. And at one point, they're like, we want to apologize to you. And they're like, Olivia Wilde takes the lead because she's, compensating, overthinking, all that stuff. She's like, oh, there's nothing to apologize for. And he wants to speak up, but, she's kind of not letting him. And so he just, big moment, zooms in on his face. He decides to ride with oh, no, we don't hear anything. And they're like, well, we know you're lying because we caught you on our secret ring camera.
Well, right, because Olivia Wilde
trips like, under the packages.
So funny.
I was dying.
Well, because what Olivia Wilde initially is like, because they mentioned the renovations they had done, like tries to jump the gun and be like, we want to apologize to you for the noise. And Seth Rogen's gearing up. But I don't know. Do you think it was because like he was taken aback by them beating him to the punch, being like, my bad, we were having loud sex? Unfortunately, he didn't admit to going up there. Because then they were like, yeah, bro, we got the video.
Yeah, they caught you in a lie.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I think that's... Oh, it's grainy. He's like, it's 4K.
And then when he comes around the couch, let me see if I can pull this off here. He does the, you know what? And like, the lights under his face. Like,
the
I
one
thought
lamp.
that was so funny, dude.
The dramatic lamp. They use that a couple of times, that lamp setup, just standing over it. Yeah. More credit to the...
Like, you guys sound like monsters up there. Like, with the light
sex
under
monsters.
him. I was dying. I thought that was so funny.
I do have a question, though, because they were saying it was late at night.
They said 4 a.m.
I assume that wasn't
Jesus.
their like sex parties then. It might have just been their like personal things.
Maybe. I mean, they said at one point they had to move it to the living room because there were so many people. He said it reverberated through the whole house and that it was late and that their daughter was asking questions.
Yeah. There's so many little lines in this that just sit with me that are funny. Like speaking of the daughter, when Olivia Wilde, they're like, "Oh, you have a daughter?" And she's like, "Yeah. I'm gonna miss her so much when she's gone." She's like, "What are you talking about? She's 6 years." She's like, "What are you talking about? Where's she going? College?" She's got 6 years till college. Like,
she's like, "Then I'll be alone." He's like, "What happened to me? Where did I go?"
Yeah, it's comedy, but showing their divide even further, which is great.
She doesn't really see him or factor him into her future at all. Which, to get to the ending, what do you guys think happened at the end? I have my own theory. I think
I'll go first if
Yeah.
you want. Yeah.
Sure, Brian.
I have an optimistic outlook. And we can talk about what Penelope Cruz says to them before, because I think it's a big moment. But I think it was like a, doesn't mean it's going to work out in the end, but I think it's like a, they both decided to, what did they say? Like, you can either find a new relationship or find a new relationship with the same person. And I think that was showing Seth Rogen, even just playing piano, was showing him trying, giving a shit a little. And I'd like to think that's them being like, okay, like maybe we can both like, still make this work. I don't know. I feel like some people are going to take what they said at the end, like this relationship is over, as being like, well, they broke up. And I'm like, I don't know. They might, but I think they're going to make an effort.
Yeah. I like that it's left a little ambiguous and up for interpretation because of that final conversation. You see them kind of split up, and we're watching them throughout the movie as the audience. I'm like, there's no good reason we should really be like wanting them to be together, right? Because the whole movie we've been seeing them argue, but we've also kind of been riding alongside them, right? And as a couple, as they're interacting with this other out there couple, like we've never had, like I could imagine us being in their shoes. We'd all be asking similar sort of questions, like what's the protocol, like for initiating an orgy, things like that. But I found myself like maybe I shouldn't have been rooting for it, but I was like, come on, Seth, like play. I wanted him to either like play the song.
I think that was the
had.
song. I'll say.
It was a song from the beginning,
And
wasn't
so
it?
when he does, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, and you see her come in and start playing along with him. Then you see him kind of like playing along and she's just admiring it. And so that you can interpret it as, all right, he's playing on his own now and she's there. But then you see them kind of like embracing each other. So I also interpret it in like an optimistic way that like, I want to see them end up together. Like,
All right, here
Michael,
comes the
Michael,
disagreement.
go-
I will
go
say
ahead.
they do sprinkle in some moments where you can see that they still enjoy things, or they did. Like when Penelope Cruz and Ed Norton are talking about how the swinger conventions go, and they're talking about, oh, there's like a preference menu, and they both go, oh, like Below Deck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, which is a show they watch together. But that's one of the only times that you see them like in sync like that, until the end, when they are playing what I assume is the One Girl song or whatever it was called. I would say, I name dropped this earlier, Marriage Story. I think it's similar to that, where they still love each other, but it's not gonna work out because like that movie has the scene, where they're supposed to write those letters to each other, and then he finally reads hers at the end, and he's like, there's love there, but like they don't work as a couple, and maybe they've gone on too long in the wrong directions.
I hear you, but I disagree a bit in the sense that, like, long term, you know what I mean? They got a lot of problems to work out. And, like, I don't know if, like, it, that means their marriage is saved. I don't think it says that at all. But what I do think the big thing that they show at the end is that, one, like, they do establish the dynamic that they did have before. You know what I mean? Like, why they fell in love, etc. And I think the big thing was about the fact they hadn't had sex in a year. And mainly Seth Rogen's big thing about music, about like being miserable and not giving a shit, where I think it was supposed to be more about like step one is like just trying to care again. You know what I mean? Making an effort, trying to be happy in that. Like by starting to play music again, not being miserable about the fact you live in your parents' apartment and you work at this conservatory and your band didn't work out. And yeah, like that is step one. Now we could get to step 2 and 3, and it might still end in divorce. But I feel like it got illuminated to them that like why they're in the rut that they are currently in. There are things they can do, you know what I mean, to get at least one step up. At least be happy as parents, not as a couple necessarily. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, parents separately. I mean, Penelope Cruz's character kind of laid out, oh, what do you want? What do you want? And it's like these two separate things that kind of want to pursue their dreams separately. She wants to use her art school education, actually like have a job. He wants like some kind of musical purpose, and they both love their daughter, that kind of thing. And I think it does seem like one of those things where it's like it's not too late, but it might be too late together. kind of thing, where you could be like, better. I thought it was like a very like a goodbye, like, oh, met playing music, maybe you break up playing music. I don't know. That's how I saw it.
I can
Yeah.
see that.
Either way, I
like-
do
I
like
think
how
it's
it's
a great
open.
thing that it's
And-
open for interpretation, like, which, and I do like also to that point, like how the movie ended with it being sort of that Marriage Story-esque kind of feeling to it, because I was curious how far this like conflict of the story was going to go, if it was going to turn into like a trope of like one couple thinking they're better than the other or something, like butting heads, and it was never really that, which I liked. And I did like how they kind of humanized Ed Norton and Penelope Cruz's relationship. We actually got to see them fighting
Mhm.
towards the end.
Did you see how excited Seth
Yeah.
Rogen and Olivia Wilde were when they started
Oh my
fighting?
God.
They were like, "Oh, they're not perfect."
Yeah, because the whole time we're like, oh, they're judging themselves, Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen, on the basis of this curve that is this other relationship where, oh, they have sex parties and they speak to each other in Spanish and it's all perfect. But it's not. Like he's correct. Then you see it. Ed Norton's like talking over her a bunch, and I bet if we rewatch the movie, he's probably doing that a decent amount.
Also,
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, he's so nice, to a point of being irritating, like crazy.
Too nice.
Like when he's like, I love how honest you are, and I'm like, he's like, fuck you, like Hawk, I don't like you. And he's like, I
Yeah.
love that. I love it's like
Howie.
get angry, Howie. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that you can interpret it that way. I guess I just thought about it more as like with relationships, right? Like the people you are when you meet can you know what I mean, compared to where you are now, especially in the case they are. Like I feel like the whole movie you're showing them being like they're unhappy, they're bickering, they're both very interested in the concept of this, group sex, being with someone else. To them, what they're doing, they're like, oh, listen to them. And then you find out, like, oh, it's because they haven't had sex with each other in a year. And then you find out why that is foundationally about the fact that, like, Olivia Wilde is mad because Seth Rogen's miserable and she's bored and she's listening upstairs. And Seth Rogen is so up his own ass about being mad that he did, that things didn't turn out and he feels like a failure. That, like, then eventually that it created, distance for them as a couple. And I think the ending showed more about like, okay, like I want to try to be better, at least for myself, and maybe that will result in us reconnecting. Like, who knows? You know what I mean? Like later that week they might. Wasn't she saying, she's like, I don't feel like you want me because you're so fucking miserable all the time. So if he starts like, being happier, maybe they do it. Maybe it's good. I don't know.
Because it's like, you can interpret it like, all right, now that it's all boiled over to a head and it's all out there, how are they going to react? And like the movie ends it with showing you that, yeah, they're playing the piano together, and kind of embracing. How do you want to interpret that? Like, is it too far gone? Like at the end, we still don't really see them solve anything, right? They're just playing the piano together. It's a nice moment, but is that enough? The implication of it enough to not erase, but like move on from everything?
Yeah,
we
gotta see.
Yeah,
He's got work in the morning, and he's got that long ass crazy bike ride. And when he gets back, she's gonna be like, "Take your shoes off and fold your bike," and he's gonna be having his back pains again and stuff. And so, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens. Like,
baby
or
steps.
we won't see. You have to wonder. Yeah. We'll see.
I
Yeah,
feel like baby steps, like Seth
happy with
Rogen starts playing music and not being so bitter. Those are the first two. Maybe for Olivia Wilde, like the girl needs a hobby or something, or a friend.
you
or
live
a
in
friend.
San Francisco. You can
Right.
do something artsy.
Or something like that. Go from there, and then I would say the next big step is that, like, I get Seth Rogen's bitching and moaning about his job that he thinks is, his ass. That commute they show at the beginning, I kind of feel him. Surely, like a car or a better bike or something. It looked really far and deep.
Yeah, I mean, they're a one-income household with
That's
a
true.
kid in San Francisco. A bike and a long commute might be because they can't move because like they only have that house because he inherited it, which is another issue. And they're pouring money
Sell
into
and downsize. That's my thing. But I guess maybe a sentimental value towards the thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite. It sounds like he hates living there.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
like they did just, she just. That's why I think like they gotta separate. He's got to move. Maybe start doing music on his own, and like she needs to start doing an art thing, and they can share custody of their
You know
daughter,
what
and
I'm
then
glad?
maybe
Oh,
they
sorry,
come
go ahead.
together in orgy.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, I'm glad to that point that they didn't do. I'm glad we got some like at least like a closure scene with the piano, like a beautiful little piano scene there that night. Because I would have like when they've separated to go to their different rooms, I was like pissed. Like I was like, there needs to be something. Like I would be devastated if the movie ends this way right now, or if we get something like that Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston movie, The Breakup, where you see them separate and it's like, oh, we're going to get a closure scene of them both looking much healthier now, like a year later, and they run into each other on the street. Like I would have been like pissed, but I think the ending worked.
Yeah, I did wonder, like, when they do start to separate, I gotta say, again, maybe points me. Olivia Wilde did not give a flying fuck about his back, and she was like, "Come on, come on, it's his back, it's his back," and like, point maybe you guys, Seth Rogen was doing anything but trying to have sex with Penelope Cruz. He was just goofing around, and he was twerking, and that's what caused him to fall over and hurt his back. She's like, come on, like she's like sitting there, she's getting bored. She's like, all right, enough twerking. Like,
yeah.
I was like, maybe he's rethinking the pegging, the way he was throwing it back.
Dude, that was that. Also, the pegging bits were so fucking funny.
The little
like
jab she was
when they're talking about that, and then like later when they when they're joining hands initially to agree on this group thing, and they're like, like, okay, we all have to, are you comfortable, or like, is everyone good? And just goes, like, any hangups we need to address right now, and so he just goes like, I mean, I'm in. I don't think I'm. What does he say? He's like, I think I'm gonna not be okay with any pegging going on me tonight. I just thought that shit. What was he saying to him? To Hawk, he goes at one point. He's talking to him like about like, everyone's doing that. And he goes like, I mean, you're a fireman who likes to get pegged. I mean,
he's like firefighter.
Yeah.
That's what he corrects. Like that's so good, dude.
Yeah, him being such a stickler, and then like his name not even being Hawk, and he's like, "Oh, we got a Howard, everybody.
Yeah,
we've got a Howard."
Yeah,
just like so bitter and angry down there. And then of course, Hawk would have like a super crazy sob story. Yeah, and I was a little bit on Seth Rogen's side. He's like came in so biased, just like he did, and I was just like, "Oh, of course, this guy's dead wife of cancer, and he blames himself, and he reformed, and now he's living a healthy life with his new flame here." But I was like, "Oh, fucking course."
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, Howie. No, I get it. I'm with you, Micah. Like,
he was like down there, and he was like, he was like, the point of that was that you didn't let your wife peg you, but now you get pegged.
Congratulations. And Penelope Cruz is like, whoa, fuck you, buddy. Like,
I mean, she's got a point also. He can't take anything serious.
No, like she actually comes at him. And I love that because again, it's a little bit of the roller coaster with the jokes because when he admits his name is like Howard William like Kent.
I was like, oh, that's Hawk.
It's Hawk. And I'm like, oh, how'd you get Hawk from a Howard? We got a Howie. And I'm like, it's literally just his initials. And I thought Edward Norton was going to just kind of blatantly be like, yeah, it's just my initials. And then you give Ed Norton this whole like sob story speech with his eyes tearing up. That's like so over the top. And I'm like, that's so good. That is just so good.
I felt Seth Rogen. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Micah.
I was just gonna say, like, this is way off topic, but like, Ed Norton's one of the Wes Anderson guys, so like hearing him say this stuff with his, his voice sounding like Ed Norton, I was like, oh my god, like this is one of the Foxes, this is one of the Isle of Dogs, this is like a million different like innocent random characters just saying the most heinous shit.
The Boy Scout troop leader,
Boy Scout troop leader. I just hearing him, I was like, wow, he usually is not talking like this or this slow.
I do. You were saying about feeling Seth Rogen during that, like his Howie speech, but like there were multiple times because, like, yes, it's obviously clear how like tense and rigid Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde are, and they're arguing, and that's clear. Like they have some serious problems, but also some of the shit that Hawk, emphasis on Hawk, was doing throughout the thing. Like I would be pissed too. Number one, going into his office randomly and I know he like is all defensive about the piano, which is a different thing, but like, bro, get out.
Still crazy.
2, they're like, let's put on some music, and he grabs the record of Seth Rogen's band, and he says numerous times, like no, like don't play that, please. And he just starts doing it until the point where Seth Rogen has to like go stand up and be like, no, that's crazy. And then my other thing was like when Penelope Cruz pulls the like she thinks is the Uno reverse after the window reveal, being like, what about when you stare at my boobs in the elevator? I'm kind of with Seth Rogen being like I don't think that's the same thing. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing that, but like, the game that my wife is playing with your boyfriend is so much more extreme, like than a wandering eye in the elevator.
Yeah, I mean it's it's unique. I think those are some wild situations. I do think those aren't as comparable. But I did think it was funny when Penelope Cruz is like, do you think they're attainable? He's like, well, I think I could reach out and touch them. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot closer than the window.
and I love, and she's like, not like that. Like, do you think what did she say? Like, deserve them or something like that? Or like, can attain them or achieve them? And I love that because it's like, in my mind, some sort of like cosmic wishy-washy like type of talk is that's the kind of thing people that would be like swingers would say, be like, you think these tits are attainable? Like that just seems so out there and about like your aura and your feelings of self-worth. And like, I just feel like this orgy is coming from a place of like, like hate or revenge right now. Maybe it's not our night for all of us.
But we can separate. Because that's
well,
that's chill. Like,
you could separate. You could separate.
Yeah, that too. Separate. You could just do that.
You could separate. Yeah.
I want to circle back to earlier in the movie. I was geeking with all the shit Olivia Wilde is going through. The souffle, the cheese, the ham. Also the wine thing. You find out they have tequila later. I'm like, I feel like there's a drink you could whatever. That's a different thing with the red wine that she makes.
Tequila's you go over to someone's house, all they have for you is tequila. I'll be like, aren't we like 45?
Yeah, but they have I'm assuming they have a liquor cabinet. Then what? Like, you don't have lime juice? I don't know. Nitpick because they opened a red wine, but
she was stressed.
Yeah, but I was geeking about like when Penelope Cruz like I don't eat no gluten, no dairy, no meat, and then later when she's in the room with Seth Rogen smoking that joint and they're just dying over the fact like that's not jamon, right? That's prosciutto. I'm not bugging. Yeah. She's like that was killing me. Also, she burned the fuck out of souffle. Like,
because they were arguing. Yeah,
that was sad.
That was sad, and then she just and then wait a minute, I need to know the ingredients of the flan or the flan, or
flan or
because
flan.
You tell me that none of those ingredients that she can't have aren't in there.
Yeah,
she ate it.
Right?
Called BS from the start.
Yeah, they ate it when Seth Rogen was about to bring up the sex.
No,
upstairs.
I know. Like Olivia Wilde was like feeding him.
I don't know.
I don't know if
she ate
I think they all had plates.
Yeah, I don't know.
She was.
It'd be like me making like some kind of peanut butter concoction, and I'm like well known for it, but I don't eat it because I hate peanut butter.
Mm.
Yeah,
it'd be strange. Or like Oren being like, seafood boil anyone, and it's like what?
Uh-huh.
Riley with like a like
a whole tree
making her like trail mix or something. Like look, it would full of nuts. Wouldn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
She was putting down those olives. Like crazy.
Yeah, a bowl full of olives.
Also, like, again, it's more about Olivia Wilde's like spur of the moment thing, but like you should feel like this would have came up at the invite earlier. I don't know. It's just kind of also her comparison about menopause, which like I get the point about like men.
The visual aid, yeah.
Yeah, I get the point that like men can not wrap their heads around that at all. How could you? But her analogy, I'm kind of like I don't think that's the same.
I will say I went. Me and Mike went and saw Jabuki in DC, and the opener was this woman, and her whole set was about perimenopause. Her entire set, and it was funny, but like, not only is it that, but it's like so much worse. Apparently.
Well, yeah, that was my point about like I feel like the things that are so bad about menopause and men can't understand are like how much what goes on inside your with your hormones, your everything. And she just breaks it down to like, what if your testicles just withered away in your sack?
Flapping
Would
in
you
the
like
wings.
that? It's like,
Yeah.
no, but
No, he's like, no, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah, what if you had to pee out your bloody testicles out of your dick once a month, and then new testicles drop down, and then one day that just ended, and then your body just like fucking racked itself with all kinds of shit.
bro, another Seth Rogen iconic line when they're talking about kids.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh.
He
like,
held
"You
his
know,
ground though, you know, he
He's-
didn't surrender. He didn't surrender.
He's like, what do they say? They're like, not really thinking about it right now. He's like, I want to think about it sooner or later.
It's like, why? Whose age?
Yeah, that's one of those,
science.
Good blocking shots that you talked about, because it's like Penelope Cruz and Olivia Wilde in the foreground,
Yeah.
and then in the background you can just see Ed Norton's just like damn, he really got himself into this one.
And they go in the other room, and
Yeah.
everyone's like kind of gives him like a head nod, and he talks his way out of it, or they just go in the other room.
Did she know that he loved carpets and that's why she got a new one? Like, I'm curious how much information she had going into it. I have to watch it again.
I want to say that's like when you're with someone, they're like, oh yeah, I love this song, and you're just like, oh my god, my favorite artist. No way. Is this this is Daniel Caesar's Get You. I love Daniel Caesar.
Yeah.
Oh god, this is original Daniel Caesar? No way. Or
That's
some
what it
shit like
felt
that.
like. What was it during like when they find out and they're asking all the questions about like the orgies?
Yeah.
That's why you like carpets so much. You're getting pegged on one all the time.
You're
Like,
get up close in person.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, dude.
You're just
Like,
taking
little-
shots because
little
he's
jabs. They're doing jabs at them.
I
the
mean,
whole
he
time.
is that kind of guy, because like the carpet thing and then the paint analogy,
my
I was
God.
like, come off it.
Yeah,
But also, I mean, I guess if you wanted to read into it, I guess they just both have that kind of like artsy mind. But like encountering someone who's maybe dirty macking in that way is like a whole new like, come on.
yeah.
Bro,
It's a great casting choice.
I geeked
for-
when there's obviously the big scene when it's Penelope Cruz and, Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, like, the therapy session, if you will. It's after she already told Ed Norton, like, she's like, fuck off. She came in with a
Yeah, he
deal
gets
of
a lot of shut the fuck up
Yeah.
in that scene.
Yeah.
And then there's this really, like, emotional, intense scene that goes on for a while, and you don't see him for a bit. And you just kind of assume maybe he's off screen, and then, like, finally, she goes like, Hawk, and he just pops up from behind the couch.
Yeah. Or he walks around earlier and he's like, hors d'oeuvres, anyone? And they're like, fuck off.
Oh my
Hawk.
God,
And
yo,
he's like,
that was
"All right,"
so
and he
fun.
walks away. And you see him, yeah. I don't know if he was like asleep or crying behind the couch, but he pops
I think he was
up with,
hiding.
like,
I think he was
yeah,
just
with,
like
tears
everyone
in his
wa-
eyes. And he gives that line of just like, yeah, guys, we really just wanted to come here to see the apartment and maybe fuck a little. Like, I lost it. I thought that was so good.
They Batman ghosted at the end. Was she
Yeah.
gonna come back
Yeah.
for a dish?
No,
That was-
Yeah.
they left him alone.
They were like, so no head, and just left.
Yeah. This was funny because, like, I feel like this movie is going to be, when it drops on whatever streaming down the line, it's going to be tough for the phone people. It's a lot of dialogue. They're going to pop up. But also, Carly, when I told her I saw it, she's like, oh, is that the one where, like, they think it's a swingers party, but they're trying to kill them? And I'm like, no. Like, you're thinking of the right movie, but, that's just
You're thinking-
incorrect.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But I
like
feel like
that-
I feel like there's gonna be a movie. If you like scroll on your phone, especially that middle part, you're gonna be like, "Oh, like what's happening? Oh, they're gonna fuck." They're not. Like you gotta pay attention.
yeah.
dialogue.
Hopefully they add some more theaters. I'd definitely watch this again.
Mine was pretty
Yeah.
full at 10:15 last night.
Yeah, mine was absolutely jam packed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought about pulling my move where I move. I check what seats are bought, and then I move up to get away from people, and then there's just nowhere to move to.
Micah,
Yeah.
you'll
So I was
get
like, "Hey,
you'll get a kick out
Huh?
of this. So you'll get a kick out of this. So behind me, like the big section that was filled out in the middle of the theater, they must have been like Emerson, because the downtown theater's right next to like all those colleges. So there was a bunch of them there, and they were cool. Like they weren't like loud or anything. But at one point, there was some line that was dropped, and a dude decided to hit the like SpongeBob like meow wow like wah wah sound, and two of his friends went, "Yo, Evan, shut the fuck up."
yeah, I'm glad that I was like, man, save the comedy for the actors."
Yeah.
Like what?
God, the worst.
Thankfully, everyone in my theater was just
Yeah.
super well
They
behaved.
were
What a
good.
delightful
They were
show.
cool. 99% of the movie. It's just that one dude decided he's like, this is my moment.
Mm-hmm. I'll be curious to see how this movie does at the end of its run, because I'm with you. Like, I would go back and see this movie. I hope it adds more theaters, but like, in comparison to the drama, I'll be curious how it does, because that's another dark comedy movie A24 put out this year. But obviously, that's got like the Zendaya and Robert Pattinson selling power. So,
are they going to expand the theaters this thing? Because it's only
hopefully,
like 2.
I think they're doing like a
Boston.
slow rollout.
mm-hmm.
You know, the A24 way, build word of mouth, have good per theater averages, that kind of thing. I think this will have good word of mouth.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm sure it doesn't cost a lot to make, so I'm sure they'll make their money back on.
I saw the Annapurna logo pop up. I'm like, well, at least they didn't give it the Ann Lee treatment.
Well, yeah, maybe they learned their lesson. I do think, you know, way too early, but would love to see this get like an original. I don't think this is an original screenplay. It did say it was adapted from something.
From
a
movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Another movie.
Sentimental.
Yeah.
Sentimental. Because
so maybe you have
I
to
was
check
like,
that out.
I saw that. I was like, sentimental value? It's just sentimental.
Yeah.
But
I could definitely see this getting an adapted screenplay nomination.
I thought
that was the first thing I thought. Like, this was a really tight, fun, like they're talking over each other so much screenplay. Like,
yeah, you only get 5 slots, and I'm thinking Dune, The Odyssey, The Invite.
Yeah.
2 more movies, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah. Love this.
Where?
All right. Brian. Yeah.
I think it's you choose next week.
It's a tough week, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Keep saying that.
Nope. Because I thought of stuff. I'm just saying, like,
kidding,
the next
I'm
week's
kidding.
the Odyssey. Okay. For this week,
I jest.
You the only movies coming out this week in theaters, like, that are dropping, because I know you already saw Minions, Jackass, stuff like that, are Moana, which on principle I just can't. I can't do that. And Evil Dead Burn.
Both of my fantasy teams.
Brian, I think you're forgetting Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass.
Yeah, I see that too right there, Mike.
I think you're forgetting something.
So I was thinking in my head, do I circle back to my choice for like kind of a silly movie that I had picked for last week? Obviously, all the weird like right-wing discourse about the Odyssey. I was thinking about doing those movies that they keep comparing it to, but then I was like, are we gonna do back-to-back sword and sandal flicks? So I think I'm just going to go with my gut, what I had picked out for last week, because it's been a while since we've done an older, weird shit movie. And I'm choosing Gamer from 2009, I believe.
Gamer?
Gamer.
Is that the one where it's like
Gerard Butler, Logan Lerman, and Michael C. Hall, whatever that dude's name is.
He's like a video...
Yeah, it's directed by the dudes who did Crank... and that second Ghost Rider movie. Apparently, this was supposed to be their big blockbuster, and it did not work out at all. But it looks insane, and I feel like instead of talking about Moana, this would be a fun one to talk about.
Yeah, I think I'd probably quit the pod if you had chosen Moana, but
I have some dignity and principles.
Hey, Minions and Monsters is right there, but I'm all in on Gamer.
Let's do it. I remember looking at this movie at a Blockbuster before.
Like, if you hadn't already seen Minions, I might have done it, but
maybe I should have kept that to myself.
You should have, yeah. Honestly, Micah, I will say this about Minions. I'm not a Minions fan, didn't watch anything once. What I'm hearing about this one makes me be like, should I?
That's why it's not doing well. It's just not for kids.
I banked on my fantasy team on this movie making a lot of money.
They made a decent like movie in the Minions like property, and then kids are like, "Where's banana?"
Honestly, I was like, very few bananas. I got like maybe like 30 minutes in. I was like, I haven't even seen a single banana. And then they're like, here, damn, a banana. And then like, I don't think I saw one again until the end. I was like, wow, they really cut back on the bananas. There's no like weird needle drops. I guess we were just into Around the Horn. I watched Minions and Monsters.
Yeah, just carry it over, bro. Go ahead.
And I had a great time. I just gotten my pupils dilated, so I did wear sunglasses for like the first half of the movie because it's just so bright. Which maybe I should have just gone to see Supergirl for a nice dim, dark, gray movie.
And dark.
But Minions Monsters super colorful. Minions are fun. They just have to get back to like, it's like old school slapstick comedy. Like they're like, running over people, falling, all that stuff, just a bunch of hijinks. And it is just full of movie references that probably even a lot of adults haven't seen. And I was like, who is this?
See, that makes me want to watch them because I figured
Yeah.
the last couple
Yeah.
Minions ones have been just like a fart and then
I did like that. There was some tweet that was like, guy that's only seen one movie. Like, oh, I like Minions. Guy that's seen 100 movies. I hate Minions. Guy that's seen 1,000 movies. I love Minions. Like,
Yeah, there's a whole montage where they do the Babylon thing where they're like silent movie stars and then talkies start and it's like, oh, a whole new world generation. Like, oh, they can't really hack it because they don't really speak. Which another thing, they're doing like a Spanglish. I could understand them. It's mostly Spanish. It's so crazy. It's mostly Spanish.
I can understand. You're
They're
like,
just, they're just speaking Spanish, and I'm like, oh, these are just words.
You're
and
fucking Josh
just like a
O'Connor in
handful of-
Disclosure Day. You're like, you hear that? I can understand them.
Dude, yeah, it's like it's Spanish.
It's English.
There's a whole montage where they're struggling to say the lines, but these are all iconic movie lines and scenes that they're failing to say. So you need to know what the line is and what movie they're doing, and then that they're messing it up. I guess that would work on its face, like, oh, they can't say the lines. But like, if you know what they're trying to say, you're like, oh wow, like they're supposed to be doing like the whole Citizen Kane like Rosebud thing.
That's funny.
And they do the whole scene, and he gets there, and he's like, Babaduga, and you're like, oh, that's funny. That's supposed to be like Rosebud or something. And they do that a bunch of times. It's so fun. And then like the cast is kind of crazy, good cast.
I didn't realize that's who is it, Trey Parker or Matt Stone? One of them
Yeah.
the
I think it's Trey
dude.
Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was super funny. Yeah. Didn't
will
realize
give it a
one
shot.
guy is all the minions.
Yeah, I saw
I was
that, too.
wondering when the monsters would come in. The monster thing is a little bit of a stretch. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But they only need the monsters to make a monster movie. So the monsters aren't really there for most of this. And I was like, where are the monsters at? And they're like, oh, here's an idea. We, try and summon some monsters to make our monster movie. But loved it. Thought it was great. They introduced some new minions, or at least gave names to some new minions. So it's not the same like Joe, Bob, and Kevin or whatever.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
All right, we're getting deep into Minions lore. Catch me
Yeah.
on my Minions Only podcast.
It bodes
Called
well.
Covering the Overalls. Coveralls. I don't know.
I feel like the way you're saying it seems like it's really focusing on, I don't know how many, maybe it's 2 or a handful of the minions primarily. When there's a sea of them, man, I just get like, it's like somebody farts. Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, this one's
The kids movie.
it's about 3 minions. There's a deaf minion that's introduced, Minion Sign Language. And then like 2 minions that are best friends
Yeah,
or
run
something.
that back. How
Yeah.
does minion sign language work?
They have little nubs, or do they have fingers?
Does he
They
talk?
they have
Does
like
he
the
talk in a
cartoon. I
minion
think you
deaf
get like
voice?
4.
Yeah.
No, that would be no,
Tasteless.
not no.
I agree. I'm glad they didn't.
He's just kind of silent, He's silent Ed. Ed is there, and Ed does sign language. And then the other minions are like, "Oh, he said this," or his name's Ed, or stuff.
Yeah.
They
'Cause if
just
he-
it's like a 30-second scene. They're like, "And this is Ed, who's deaf." And they developed sign language for Ed, and it happens in like 10 seconds.
They can't
And you're
speak English. They can form sign language, but
They understand English. I don't know what they are. They understand English, but they can't really speak it. I don't know.
Gabagoo.
Man,
Yeah.
that's fucking funny.
If you pitch them down, someone would be like, "This is an offensive caricature of Spanish-speaking people,"
I agree.
because
but
it's like a
funny 'cause they're
Spanglish
pitched up.
hybrid. But it's pitched up and it's like silly, and like they're just saying like, "Oh, el baño," and you're like, "Wait a minute, that just
Yeah.
means bathroom."
Bathroom.
I don't know. Yeah, but
man,
that's what I watched. Anyone else?
Eric, go ahead, man.
The big one from this last week. I completed my Ben Affleck directed movies run. Watched Argo with my mom.
Ooh.
She'd never seen it, and it was a good watch. I hadn't watched Argo in a minute, probably over a decade, and I enjoyed it a lot. I'll give my mom's take. She's like, I think Ben Affleck is a pretty wooden actor, and I think this is a good role for him. Were her words, because he doesn't really have a lot to do in this movie. Obviously, between the pairing of him and Matt Damon, I think Matt's the better actor. But Ben, Argo is a well-directed movie. There's a great sequence in the middle when, they're making the movie, they're doing the live table read, and they're cutting that with they dress all like the shitty Star Wars ripoff that is Argo, the live table read with everyone in costumes, cutting that with the real life, people being held in this Iranian embassy. Yeah, thinking they're gonna die. It's a really stressful watch. So enjoyed it. And also rewatched Interstellar with Riley. And she was stressing about that one
Classic.
as well.
Sorry, the dog was barking. I turned my mic off for a minute.
No, that's good. We need Jersey's takes on the pod.
No, she's probably pissing Carly off right now, but that's okay.
That's fire. Well, Brian, what did you watch, brother?
So my big one, because I think we can make this an even hour. Save that question for next week. The two things I watched leading up to a movie that I haven't watched yet was I went back and watched the first two Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to. Haven't seen it in a while. I guess
Caspian.
Yeah. I mean, the trio here are Prince Caspian, Truthers. We know that. But I guess Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe is great. It's kind of crazy. Obviously iconic from my childhood. That the battle scene is ingrained into my head. I was laughing watching it though, because I'm obviously it's supposed to be the whole Christianity, Aslan is Jesus metaphor. And I just kept thinking, watching it, I'm like, yeah, bro, I think I'd be a little more inclined to join the Christianity fold if Jesus was a fucking lion calling me to an actual battle against the devil. She's real. She's right. She's over there in a castle. And I did.
Liam Neeson.
I was geeking too because obviously because of Edmund's sins, right? One man sins, he has to die, much like Jesus does. And then 3 days later, he comes back. But again, I think that's when the metaphor gets a little flimsy because I would have remembered on Easter if Jesus came back in the heat of battle and then killed the fucking devil with his jaws.
Not to get theological.
I know,
but I think according to the lore,
I'm dumbing it
he
down.
did go to hell briefly and rough up Satan. Or I don't know. I think he did go down there and have a tussle. I think is canon. I don't know.
I know his Minions lore and he knows Narnia lore. He knows
Listen,
they make
the
equal
lore.
sense.
I will say this. CS, no, but I'm saying,
Banana?
and watching Prince Caspian, which I think might be better. Sorry, that's just me. Even if you don't think that, I just don't understand.
No, it's not. It's just it's a darker movie.
I agree. Obviously, you're not going to probably compel someone to say that it's better than Lion, Witch, Wardrobe, but I just don't understand how it's not a 1-2 thing. You know what I mean? People always you mentioned
what else is there to Dawn Shredder? No one's
no, but I
Dawn
just mean more about people don't talk about Prince Caspian ever, and if you mention it or it being dope, I would say most people are like, well, "Was that one kind of nobody watches that one?" It's kind of because
I think standard set the bar set was too high. Even a good movie like Prince Caspian.
Yeah, true. I love Prince Caspian. We know that, but I'll leave off with this. I thought C.S. Lewis trying to make Christianity cool but he did nail the fact that once Jesus Aslan when they actually walked through, this dude dipped and let the world fall into disarray for centuries. And he came back, and when she goes, "Why didn't you help?" He's like, "Things never happen the same way twice." I'd have been like, "Fuck you, Aslan! You could have stepped in any time." The genocide and persecution. Yeah. Sorry.
The lore is gonna get even more jumbled by this Magician's Nephew movie when you get the origin of Narnia and you find out where the witch comes from. I don't know if they'll clean it up a little, but it is. She's just like a person, she's a witch for sure. She's just like a bad person.
What are the name of the peoples that are Prince Caspian's king of?
Yeah,
are they in the lore, Micah? Do you know? Are they supposed to just be Spaniards?
Yes, they are. So they say that at the end of Prince Caspian because at the end of Prince Caspian, Aslan opens the tree portals. and he's like, sorry, it's makes me laugh. He's like,
Jesus,
oh.
open the tree portals.
I'm not kidding. But he tells
You're
like,
too
oh, like
old.
he's like, to the Pemsley kids, the kids. He's like, you can go back, or you can stay. And he goes to the Telmarines now that they've been liberated, and he's like, you guys can go back to your home. And then someone says like, it's been centuries since we've been to Telmarine. Like, I don't know if we can do that. And he's like, actually, your ancestors came from the same world as these guys and sailed through a cave. So this portal will take you back to World War II. World War I era Spain.
Spain? I don't know if that's the right place you want to be, my friend.
I'm just saying, like, they're like, I think it'd be a little jarring to go back to Telmarine after all these centuries. He's like, nah, bro, don't worry about that. I got a better option.
That's a weird. I think that's a train. I think it's like a weird change that they made because I mean, in the book, there's just like other places. There's like a lot of kingdoms. Narnia is just one place, and Telmarines are. I think Caspian just like kind of sets up shop, and he's like, "I got this," and then they come back even later for the Dawn Treader stuff, and you're like, "Oh, we knew your great uncle. He really fucked with us," and no, he's dead and stuff.
No, I just thought it was funny because their objection to going to what they thought was Telmarine was like, it's been so long. Like, all we know is our settlement here in Narnia. Like, we don't know what it's like back there. He's like, duh, bro, don't trip. It's actually much worse and much more jarring of a time jump.
Trenches, tank warfare.
They're about to pull up in the Mediterranean Sea in fucking canoes.
Brother, there's U-boats in the water. Get out of
there.
Oh my god.
Oh, that should just kill me though. I'm like, what? Aslan, are you gonna stick around this time? Or are you gonna fuck off again for 1,000 years?
I think he fucks off again.
Dawn Treader. That shit killed me. I'm gonna watch Dawn Treader.
Yeah, he gets
next.
real like cryptic and you're just like, oh, I saw a lion-shaped shadow. And then it's Aslan. Anyway, what were you saying, Brian?
No, I was saying I never actually saw Dawn Treader, and now that I've watched the two movies that I like, I think I'm ready, and I'll give it a fair shake.
Read so you know what they're trying to do, because I'd say it fails as an adaptation and as a movie.
Wonderland-y at times. I'm thinking of one particular sequence, but it just kind of fails. Yeah, it falls flat on its head. Yeah. I've never rewatched it. I think I remember being very excited to watch it.
I feel like I'll save the reading once we get a little more definitive timeline about the Greta Gerwig.
You have them all, Brian. Take them to the beach.
I know. I have that copy somewhere. It's not within arm's reach where I can put it back up again. But yeah,
it's in the box still.
In the box.
I'm gonna watch his trilogy. What's it? Andrew Adden, whoever that dude is who directed all three. I
don't know. Thank you for those movies, though, man. Whoever you are.
Listen, in an era of a lot of different franchises starting, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Assuming I don't like Dawn Treader.
Yeah. I think the Dawn Treader failed because it came out like right when Harry Potter was ending and like Hunger Games was starting, and no one had really cared anymore. For
it was just the two kids left,
and Twilight was out. Like this is like that was peak young adult novels, and Narnia it wasn't enough to keep up.
No sex appeal in Dawn Treader.
They made the third main character or fourth main character a rat. Yeah,
man, Reepicheep. He was cool. He's got old sex
appeal. From Caspian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's not thousands of years later. I just remember that they like come back and it's like
Caspian's in it.
Yeah, that's right.
And so is Will Poulter. Will Poulter forever used to be that kid from Narnia to me. Like
he got because of his weird eyebrows. They were just like, you kind of look like a shithead. I think we're gonna cast you as mean and a child,
or
mean.
Where the
Then Maze Runner came out and he was mean in that.
Yeah.
Oof! I didn't realize Caspian bombed like that at the box office.
It shouldn't have.
All right.
I mean, it was big. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to hold you all up. I was just laughing. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, we can outro this. Yeah, next week, what do we got? Gamer. We're throwing it back to the past. So come on, tune in next week. Appreciate you guys for viewing, and as always, check out our socials and everything, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.